Yeah, hi there. These comments are for, I'm just going to use your initials, AA, for privacy purposes, and I just listened to your, I'm actually going to listen to your integrated speaking practice test number 16, and you're one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino, and you're taking my online TOEFL course. So let me go ahead and download your practice test right now. And if I remember correctly, this one is discussing glacier formation, the process of how glaciers are formed, and there's several steps
about how glaciers are formed. The glacier is, according to the lecture, the speaker talks about how glaciers are formed. The glacier is formed throughout a number of processes. Firstly, when the snow remains in one area year-round, it transforms into ice, and each year there is snow barrier formed and compressed the previous layers.
Now, in that case, you don't have a subject and a verb there. It's more of a fragment, but you can say something like, well, every year the snow forms and creates layers and layers of snow that eventually compresses and becomes more dense and so on.
Secondly, the compression forces the snow to recrystallize, which forms grains.
Yes.
These grains are similar in size and shape to grams of sugar.
Exactly.
Gradually, the snow slowly increases in density through accumulation of layers by a small number of air pockets.
All right.
After that, about 2 winters, the snow turns into fern and intermediate state between snow and glacier ice.
So you want to have a pause there. So it turns into fern, then have a pause and say the intermediate state between snow and glacial ice. So we know that that idea that you're explaining there is redefining something that's already mentioned. So that's kind of a problem with delivery, specifically with your pacing.
The snow at this point becomes as dense as water. Lastly, the ice crystallizers become so compressed that almost no air pocket can come between them. For most glaciers, this process takes over 100 years to perform. After that, the water glacier becomes so heavy that it begins to move downhill due to the forces of gravity.
Exactly. You got it all in there. So your response was about 65 seconds. So you included, I think, most of the important points, I think, from the lecture. All right, let's take a look at the rubrics here to give you a score. Okay, here, I think for the scoring purposes, maybe a weakness, you had some minor problems with your delivery, and I think you can work on what's called thought groups and blending. You can learn more about that by going to the pronunciation section of my course, and it'll give you some good tips on when to pause, what tone you should use, and when you should blend certain sounds of one word to another sound of another word. So you can definitely make some improvements in that area. Language use, I think you had fairly good control, both your grammar and your vocabulary. Topic development, you had a pretty complete, accurate response. Okay, so your score here, I'm going to put you at about 3.0 out of 4, or 23 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right, thank you.